with a friend, and I felt that I needed to go live because I thought something big was happening here, but I really don't know. There were just, so I'm just watching my backpack. Um, there were just so many people lined up. I am, ladies and gentlemen, I am here right outside. Maybe I'm technically inside. I think I'm technically inside. Not Italy. But this is St. Peter's Basilica. This is the Vatican. I have very, very, very mixed feelings about this place. But I just thought, now tomorrow, today I have a busier day, but tomorrow I really have a free day in Rome. And so I thought I might try and put up um, something more of a virtual tour. But I just thought I'd come and put one up here just for the minute. See, there were just huge, huge crowds lined up outside. I don't know why they were. And then suddenly they started walking in. And I was wondering if maybe the Pope was coming out or something. But it might just be lineups now to go in to the Sistine Chapel. To me, the entrance was always around the other side. There's a lady doing a nice, pretty model shoot there. But by the way, over here, one of these is the Vatican shop. Back in my days when I used to do tours here, and I see all the students around. Hey, we're going to walk right into St. Peter's. I'm going to walk straight in. There we are in front of St. Peter's. Ladies and gentlemen, hi there. So have a look at this. Um, so I just wanted to give this little bit of history because the shop behind us, they used to always include it on the tours. They'd call it a break, but actually it was just companies earning commissions in there in cahoots with the Vatican. I always found that a very peculiar relationship. But here we are, and of course, Vatican, hey, Nat, ciao. Vatican becomes independent under Mussolini, you might remember. And like I say, this is obviously they're cleaning up from what was all the activities over Easter. A very big deal here for people of this faith, of course. Um, but like I say, if you see on the other side, so I was wandering up the road, and they were just, I mean, I'm used to the crowds because the Sistine Chapel's background here, the entrance. But suddenly everyone started coming in, and I didn't know if someone important was coming out, but I think they've changed entrances. I'm going to have to ask my friends. So as I was saying the other day, I arrived here yesterday on the high-speed train. I got into Termini station at 6:25, hopped in a cab, and went to my friend's newer house, not the house I've been to before. And I'm staying with, my very dear friend, has been friends of mine since 1996, and he's from London, but his wife is Italian, and I've known her for years, and they have two kids who are just either side of Finn's age. Hey, Martin, ciao. And so we just had a nice morning, and I just walked down here, and I'm actually meeting a lady for lunch who runs tours as well. And we had met in Chile years ago, and we're setting up a tour for Italians in Canada, the Canadian Rockies, and then the pandemic happened. So that's that. So that'll be a nice lunch. Look at the fountain here. And then, hey, Sandra, hi there. So welcome to Rome. And like I say, I really hadn't intended on going live today, but I thought maybe the Pope or something was coming out. But because there's just massive crowds lined up, and they started coming into the square. But I think they're entering the museum from an angle that I didn't know. Now, I do want to come and show you this monument over here, which I don't really know anything about. But yeah, so this is the smallest independent country in the world, the Holy See. It is interesting that, a place that's full of monks is an independent country for so long, because, of course, they're celibate like their fathers before them. But this is a very interesting statue here, and it shows some people in precarious situations. So I am going to have to read about it. Is this for your mama? That's lovely, Nat. Yes, I really am going to read it was, like I say, it's not that I prepped a tour here today. It was just that I saw all the crowds moving at once, and I thought maybe we would have seen the full percent on screen. Ah, that gentleman looks Jewish. That's interesting. Um, what a fascinating sculpture. So I promised to read about that after. People have obviously shaken hands with this fellow a lot. Well, yeah, Martin, I was adding it up. I have not been back here for, I was here when Finn was 2. Um, and I really don't know. Stuart told me that we had met one other time I was on tour. So maybe I came back and did one other tour here that I'm just not remembering exactly, or we're getting our dates wrong. So, but it's pretty interesting. But you know what? We have time, seeing how I'm here now. I'm meeting my friend in an hour. So why don't we wander down the other way? Because I would need a ticket to get up into St. Peter's Basilica there, obviously. It's not something that I have. And there's the famous spire in the middle. But it was a very nice, gentle, easy walk this morning. Um, and I had a lovely conversation with my friend's downstairs neighbor who's from Bolivia. And so that was a neat thing. But here we are in beautiful Rome. And of course, I think for those of you who know Rome, you'll remember that Rome is actually quite a small city, right? But they do have the height restrictions. So we're staying on the 8th floor of a building, which is the top floor, which is just wonderful. I might do a little panoramic short from up there. And really, you look out, and I could see Piazza Venezia. Did you, Nat? You walked here with your 13 years ago. Well, that is that's really a significant, really genuinely significant thing. Say, came here with Finn when he was 2, so he really doesn't remember that. I do understand that my boy did a brilliant tour today with Platypus, which is really cool. So let's say today we're catching up with other old friends. So I'm so glad I added on these couple of days to come down here. It's, and then tomorrow I genuinely have a free day. It's day after tomorrow I fly home. And so I'll decide what I do. They're doing a fun photo shoot over there. Let's wander down. We're going to go head out here and wander at least up to the river. How does that sound? That sounds like a fun thing. I don't know how you do it, but you're welcome to invite people to join in for a minute if they'd like. Interesting. Almost like I think that was an old Yugoslav military cap. So look at all the beautiful cobbles out here. And but it is. I can walk from here to Termini Station in about I think about 45 minutes, and probably only 20 minutes or so to Piazza Navino. Piazza, the famous one where they used to race the chariots. That's where you go to have tiramisu in the night. And Via del Corso, the main street that comes up right up to the middle of the city. But so it's all quite doable. But there are, of course, literally, palpably, thousands of years of history here. I mean, really palpably, a very precarious situation there. When you think about the incredible wealth in the Vatican and the incredible disparity of wealth. Is that right, Sandra? Hi, Michelle. Buongiorno. Ciao. Hey, Michelle, if you just joined in, turn around and give you this view. There is St. Peter's. And it was a big crowd started moving in, but it must have just been when the museum was opening. Must have opened at 10:30. That's all I can possibly figure. It's interesting just thinking about guiding in different places because I'm getting more and more bookings for private trips at home through the summer. And of course, my friends here we all were tour directors once upon a time. But, they're local Roma guides. And of course, their challenge is they get a request for a private tour, and that's great. But then they have to see if they can get tickets for the Vatican or the Colosseum or those things. Sorry, I just dropped my glasses. So that's the challenge for them that way. So as we come down here, this is fascinating. So of course you'll recognize the Vatican flag, the yellow and white one. But then you also see these different embassies. They maybe had an event, but I can see the Brazilian flag and the Argentine flag. Right? So, and I think I'm correct in saying the current Pope is the same one. He's the Argentine. Um, he was also the head of the Catholic Church in Argentina during the dirty war in that country. It was an interesting conversation to have. But I see a Canadian flag down there and a Malaysian flag and that's Taiwan. So huge variety. But it's nice that this is cut off to traffic to be able to wander down here. Oh, and the sun is just starting to come out now. So I brought my backpack to have my gimbal with me, some water, and I did bring my raincoat because there was about a 30% chance. But I think that's passed now. Have a look at this arch through here. Look at the ancient walls in the distance there. So one of the things you really notice when you come to Rome, obviously, is like the taxi ride yesterday for all of 15 minutes or so. You see the remnants of the old roads. Now there's a castle coming up at the end of the street here. D'Angelo, I think. I'm going back into my recesses of my mind to remember these things. But there is apparently, an underground walkway, so the popes and the leaders of the Vatican could have escaped from the old days out there. So there you go. These are embassies in the Republic of Argentina and the Republic of Brazil. I didn't realize that flag would be out there. I'll take a picture of it for my friend Sayori down in Brazil. And then, that's the Angola flag up in front of us here. And it's interesting when you see the Canadian flag. Of course, historically, French Canadians were overwhelmingly Catholic. English Canadians, much more mixed. But of course, this is by population, the largest single faith on planet Earth. But I am in Rome again. I'm back in Italy, by the way. Martina, I'm with you. So the building that my friends live in is actually only 1930s. So it was actually during that fascist architecture when things were growing here. And I know my friend, who shares very much similar political views to mine, finds that strange. But he said that was all just that's less than 3 kilometer walk, and that was literally grass. So it's amazing how small it really was. So, yeah. So here we've got the Republic of Azerbaijan. What is the one with the 3 stars? But yeah, lots of things. Yeah, that is Angola up above, and Argentina, and of course you have the people out with their show of force. But you can hear the sirens in the back as well, which is just kind of the noise and the echo of Rome. But it was funny. I was walking on really very empty, easy streets. Shall I do it? Let's do it, everyone. Let's do it. I tell you what, though, it is already pretty, well, for me, pretty humid out here. I guess the bridge I was going to walk to is clearly closed. Clearly closed. So much so I'm going to have to walk the other way, but I just have to come in. It is Taiwan that I saw. And then here is the Canadian embassy to the Holy See. Oh, this is a nice view. If you like the architecture, Michelle, look at that lovely view down there. Isn't that's something to see? Please make sure. I have to always remind people, I guess, to hit the likes as well. I don't know why, but it's YouTube algorithm. So let's wander down here a little more. We'll go through that gate and see if I can get up to the river, to the Tiber. See if I can. And it's I think I will tell my friend that I can meet her somewhere else because trying to find someone here is like finding a needle in a haystack. Hi, Sue. It is quite warm. I have a backpack on. In fact, I'm going to put on one shoulder because I'm getting a little too hot. Look at those old walls. One of the fun things as well in Rome is I brought my water bottle, but I brought it empty, and I stopped at the first fountain I found and I filled it up. They've had potable water here for over 2,000 years. Ça fait plaisir, Nat. Ciao, arrivederci. Nice of you to stop in for the last minute. Yeah, let's go up around the corner and see. Look at this, these walls all through here. But yeah, Rome is particularly eclectic in my mind because I had a really nice to see, but it is particularly eclectic. Now, it's also interesting when you talk to my friends when they did their guiding license here. So they had to take a test, like you do. So, in fact, you might remember a few weeks ago I was teaching a class in Michigan about tourism, and I actually the friend I'm staying with, he video called in, and we talked about the process of getting qualified because he's qualified in both London and here. And in London, it was a whole course was a lot about your group management, but in Rome, you essentially take one exam, and you have to pass that exam. And then once you pass it, you sit down in front of a panel of, I don't know if they're historians, and they literally ask you questions about anything, and you have to answer them. So it could be, of course, about the Vatican, or it could be something way more archaic, like a church out in the back of beyond. And so it took him a couple of years of studying. It's fabulous, thing. Yeah. I'll just give you one more view of this wall leading up to the buildings. Yeah. So I'm just staying here today tomorrow. I fly home day after tomorrow. I say originally, when I had organized this trip, I was going to be running a trip to Croatia, but it was a multi-bus thing. And then they offered me to run a much shorter one to Albania. So I did that instead, just because for the most part, I only do my own stuff now, but this was something I said yes to. But I already had the flights over, so then I took advantage of the opportunity. Um, Martina, I'll answer that question. So obviously, my main thing was that the experience in Albania, but then I took this chance to catch up with my friends here and to come back. So they're quality guides in terms of information, where I will give a real shout out. And if you need a guide when you come here, I'll put you in contact with my friends, and of course, my friends. But what they don't do is a lot of training on like group management. So I have to say, in the past, look at that. I used to laugh about it. I'd be in front of the Colosseum. I mean, things that are that famous. And actually, you'd stand there with someone whose information was excellent, but they weren't dynamic or anything, right? And no matter how interested you are, an hour straight, right? It's lovely. Let's go up and over this ancient river. Um, my friend Nico is into rowing and goes out rowing on the river, which is pretty good. Yeah, it is. Stilia Castel Sant'Angelo. So I did remember the name there. And that goes back to the papal states. Remember when Italy starts to come together under Emmanuel in the 1860s, this section wasn't, even though Rome was going to inevitably eventually become the capital, these remained the papal states, and this goes right back to the Holy Roman Empire. So this is, of course, deep ancient history, Roman history, but right up to the modern times. And whilst some people, so true, Martin, but even up to the modern times, remember that the Roman Empire, one would argue, actually existed right through to the 1400s, really, at the eventual fall of Istanbul of Constantinople. So the Byzantine Empire was still Rome. It was just the Eastern Roman Empire. Here we are heading out. Fortunately, say they're doing some sort of roadworks, so I couldn't get the perfect view up that I would have liked to. But let me just step up on this ledge, shall we? Nice to see the European flag flying. There you go, everyone. How cool is that? There is a famous ancient river. There's a gentleman who's, I think, camping out down there. Nice volume of water. I guess I could maybe get a nice view in the other perspective in the distance there. But isn't it fun to have everyone on board here? And always part of that same experience where I literally go live very, very last minute. But hey, better than not being alive at all. Here we are. There's people lined up. I don't think I'll be going into any museums or anything. Just because I don't want to stand in line. And I've been into a lot of them over the years. And plus, you love it. Yeah. Plus, of course, because I'm staying with professional guides, any question I have. Oh, we're having great catch up today. I think it's going to be a room tonight. I bet you'd all have to be there because tonight I think there's going to be 6 or 7 of us who are all started working together in the 90s. We've all ended up in different parts of the world. It's kind of fun. So look at this pedestrian bridge as I go over here. Thanks, Sandra. Thank you. But the one thing I don't miss when I fly away from Europe is the tobacco, of course. I keep expecting it to be less and less, but it's a lot more. Oh, and Germany, of course, has just legalized cannabis or decriminalized. No, I think they legalized it. That's the first European country. We were talking about that last night about how it's been in Canada. Have a look down the river here. So really, once I get to the other side of this river, then I'm really in kind of, the city center of Rome and all these fun winding streets. You get up to the one main street, Via del Corso, and then I would walk. I'd have to look, but I'd go straight up past the Victor Emmanuel Monument, and that leads straight up to the Colosseum. Like, it's all very doable. Maybe I'll do a walk like that tomorrow if you fancy something like that, everyone. And after talking to my fantastic kid this morning, I am going to, on the website he's building, I'm going to start putting up a couple of, specific special tours that way. Thanks, Michelle. Yeah. I will, actually, you know what? I will donate that money specifically to coffee. That's a great idea. Here's another look at this street back here. How's that? Pretty amazing, eh? It is actually quite warm and muggy. So, but then I'm a long way south. And yesterday's train trip, I was 2 hours from Trieste over to Venice on the slow train, but it was nice. And then the high-speed train was wonderful. But one of the things that made me laugh about it is that down through the mountains, which I was so excited for, but they were there's so many tunnels that I actually didn't see as many of the mountains as I probably hoped to. But I knew there was tons of tunnels. But what a great system! So that's neat. All right, everyone. Well, listen. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We've already gone to 22 minutes, but like I say, I really went live thinking that we might see the Pope, but obviously it's just people coming in. So it is 10 to 12 here. It's hold on, let me tell you again. Sant'Angelo, Saint Angelo, and that's the one. Sorry, staring at me as I look down. But that one, there's an underground passage, or so we're told, between there and the Vatican. But yeah, I once went up there. Once I had tickets for a group and went up top there. But everything's just so busy now, as you know. All right, everyone. I will, Martine. I'm looking forward to my. I'm looking forward to everything in these days. It's both catching up with, say one of my kind of really good old friends and people I know, and just sort of having a couple of days. So pretty lucky, pretty nice life. Thank you, Sandra, to be able just to kind of hang out in places like this. My next trip over to Europe, which isn't very long from now, I fly 17th. So I get to London the 18th, and the 19th I'm down in Madrid. But of course, that one is leading a tour, so but a busier one, and it's to me travel, so I'll be much less free time on that. So yeah, big hugs to all of you. Thanks, everyone. And I guess when we've got the Vatican in the background, we should always say peace and love. And I will see you all. You're welcome, Sue. I'm great at it. Yeah. Rome at night is lovely. We used to do these Rome by night tours, and because very limited with tour buses, but we'd walk them all around. Another story, but listen, I'll try and look at my time, and I'll try and put up a tour tomorrow with some of the other sites. Okay, see you soon.